What's going on, everyone? Hope all is well. Thank you for coming to the call. Today, let me help you avoid a big risk that I took on when I started my business, which was I used credit cards incorrectly in my business, and it put me almost $100,000 in debt and almost out of business. And it's because I misunderstood the type of company I was signing up with. I thought I was getting a business credit line that I had checkbook control over to buy properties. But what actually happened was I was getting business credit cards, a bunch of small ones put together, and I still didn't even get what they actually promised me. So here's what you need to look out for, guys. Be very careful and pay close attention to this. What I want you to understand is this. There are companies out there that will disguise themselves in what's called a credit line, but they're really just going to get you business credit cards. And they're going to charge you a bunch of money to do this. And what's going to happen is they're going to make you put up $3, $4, $5, sometimes $10,000 or more to get you a guesstimate. What they promise you is not always what's going to happen, right? And they're giving you a guesstimate, meaning you could possibly get $50,000 to $250,000. You could possibly get, 6 to 18 month windows of 0% interest on these cards when you first launch them. You could possibly get a low interest rate, like a 10 or 9% or something like that, or a high interest rate, like a 20 going on 30% interest rate, right? So what they're going to do is they're going to give you a bunch of ranges, and you're going to get caught up in the big side of it. I'm going to get 250,000. I'm going to get 18 months with 0% interest. I'm going to get the cards with the lowest interest rates. And what happens is they convince you that this is a very difficult process, that you need their support, that you couldn't do this on your own, when in reality, you could simply go right on the internet and apply for all the cards that you would have been getting from these companies in the first place. So this is what happened to me. They made me believe that if I paid them all this money, they were going to do something special to get these cards set up. And then once I had the cards, it was their secret sauce or their secret behind the scenes proprietary system that was going to help me take all the cash off these credit cards so I could go buy houses. Now, guess what happened? I stroked the check. I paid a bunch of money. I was already in debt. Remember, I went further into debt to get more credit cards to go further into debt because I was chasing my lost money. I was spinning out of control, and I didn't want to go out of business. So here's what actually happened. They promised me 50 to 250,000. I actually didn't even get the full 50,000. They promised me 6 months to 18 month windows of 0% interest. Do you think I got the long period or the short period? And then what happened also was they promised me low interest rates, and I got a bunch of high interest rates that also jumped up quickly. I had one where I missed one payment that wasn't even a real payment that I missed. It was like a late fee or something like that, or it was like an interest carryover from the previous month that I didn't know I had. It was something like a few dollars, tens of dollars, right? And I missed this, and I watched my interest rate jump up to just under 30%. So the problem is with these companies, first of all, number one, you don't need them. You can go apply for any card that they're going to get you in the first place. They're not doing anything that special. No matter how much they tell you they are, they're not. I can assure you, I've had many people go do this on their own, get the same cards with the same limits to the people that did it for them. And they did this with their time, a small amount of time applying for the applications instead of paying $5,000 to $10,000 for another company to do it. Now, this is very important to understand. So you're going to avoid the money up front. Second thing is you're going to get caught in a situation where you're expecting a bigger amount and you're going to get a smaller amount. You're expecting a longer period of no interest being kicked in, and you're going to get the short period. And what's going to happen here is this. This is where I got into trouble. I thought I was going to have this money out at 0% interest for a lot longer than I did. And what happens is 6 months, 12 months goes by very, very quickly in the world when you're in business and you have a bunch of houses you're flipping. And before I knew it, I got caught where I had a whole bunch of cards that I had full interest being paid on them, and they were really high interest rates, if that makes sense. So I spent all this money up front to go further in debt. I had all these cards that did not actually come to me the way they said they were. And then when I was using them, I got myself into credit card debt quickly because those introductory periods went away quickly. And before I knew it, I was paying massive amounts of interest on a monthly basis. And then the last thing, the worst thing was I never actually was able to take the credit card cash advances off, take the cash off these cards, and actually use these to build my business. So I did some with these cards. What I did was I paid for materials, expenses, sometimes small gap funding on certain transactions and things like that to finish out rehabs. But I was never actually able to accomplish buying properties with these credit cards. You're going to have to get a credit line, an actual credit line. So the first thing is when you're sitting down with a company, interrogate them. Read the small print, make sure they're not doing something that you can't do on your own. They're paying you, charging a bunch to do it for you. And then also make sure you have a good understanding that they have a credible company, that you're not going to basically get stuck in a spot where you're going to go through this full headache, pay all this money, and you can't even do what you're trying to do, which is get that cash off to go buy houses. Hopefully this helps, guys. Be wary out there. I've seen this happen to not only myself, but a lot of others. And be careful. Do not let this happen to you guys. I'll see you on the next video.